What's going on, and welcome out to more FC25 Ultimate Team content. And we haven't done one of these types of videos for a very long time, and the game's been out for a while and I've tested a ton of cards, and I want to show you not only some of the best players that I personally use, but also some of the worst. So this should help you massively when you go and build your teams on FC25. Let's go. So if you need coins to go and purchase any of the players that you see in today's video, then make sure to head over to MMOEXP.com and use the code Fuji at checkout to get 5% on your next order. They're safe, they're reliable, and they're quick. So go and check them out. So do keep in mind, as we go through each position, some of these players you're going to see feature have basically been recommended by the community, and it's a landslide vote. So if a couple of people disagree, it's best to trust like the mass. But looking at the goalkeepers first of all, and we are going to be seeing some expensive players, Schmeichel does seem good value. Considering the chemistry provides 500,000 coins, I've personally been using him on my RTG, and he is really, really good. He makes some fantastic saves. He's got the long throw trait as well, which is great if you want to get on your counter-attacks with a little bit more accuracy. So I like Schmeichel a lot. Ter Stegen and Courtois, like the two regulars, can't really go wrong. They've been trustworthy, and they're going to continue to be good goalkeepers, I feel like, from now until the end of the game. And then Van der Sar is really like what you're trying to work towards. I haven't put Buffon on this list, and I did use Buffon, but for 1 million coins, he just didn't really seem like worthwhile. And then to be fair, like Van der Sar is also 800k, but I must say that I've been facing Van der Sar more often than Buffon, and he's been really, really good against me. Mad animations, just seems like a really difficult goalkeeper to get past. So I'd recommend him highly. And then with the Tim Howard, he is the worst. These are the best, and this is the worst. Tim Howard, I have not struggled to face up against him, and everyone in the community that have Tim Howard are always suggesting that they can't wait to get rid, and they're just using him, obviously, for the chem. So Tim, ain't your time, Tim. So this lineup is a little bit controversial, but I'll get into explaining my reasons behind the certain players that I've picked. But with Icon, he's going to set you back 650,000 coins. So you're basically paying an Icon price, but the performance you get in game is similar, if not the same. Like, he's so good, a little bit slow, but defensively sound, and he's going to be great for your team. Van Ewink, free of charge. Literally available from the milestone like foundation objectives, and you could potentially put him into the Evo if it's still available, but I'm just using the box standard version with no upgrades, and he is so good in game. He's fast, similar to the Frimpong approach, but more physicality, and defensively I haven't had no issues at all. I really, really like him. He's my main right back. It really is that good. And then with a Zambrotta, you're paying for the icon, but then you've got that like similar approach with like the bit of like the Van Ewink pace, and then the Mycon like stability. So I really like Zambrotta, but he was very, very expensive when I first tried him, but he is a great card. And then Carpenter deserves an honorable mention. Haven't used her just yet, but she's available from the season progress, and she does get some very nice chemistry with some of the players you're going to see in this lineup today. But Carpenter, great stats, intercept plus, she's got to be good. Well, I hope so. And then we come on to like the controversial picks, because Di Lorenzo, I must say that he isn't like the absolute worst, but he deserves a mention because of the lack of like performances that I've got. Like every time I come back to use this card, I'm left with that sense of feeling that I'm always wanting to upgrade from him to someone better. And that's why I've got to put him in this area. Like, oh, he's not amazing, but he's all right. And then with the Kunde, it's been a long time now since using this card, but when using him in the right back role as well, he's just not that great. He's a little bit slow. I'm always wanting again to bring in somebody else. So I've got to mention Kunde not being one of the best right backs on the game. So if you are intending to play him there, keep that in mind. So everybody is different with the way they play FC25, but I'm not scared to show you the cards that I really have disliked in that centre-back position. But let's have a look first of all at the best. And Eder Militao, even trying Hierro and some other icons and like Desai, you've got Laurent Blanc. I'm always finding that Eder is just really strong, like so quick to recover, and it suits the way I personally defend. Then you got Virgil van Dijk that does seem very smooth. Like even though he's got low acceleration, he just seems to glide, and he has become like, well, the best again, really. Like if you're not using Virgil, you're doing it wrong. And then Raphael Varane, like at the start of the game, maybe the SBC was looking a little bit too expensive. I just fully sent on the RTG, and he's been one of the best cards on the game, so that was a good idea. And then Saliba, you can't really go wrong, but I must say that I do personally prefer Van Dijk to Saliba, and in fact Varane is a bit more secure than this man as well, but they're just fantastic options. But going on to like some of the worst players, I just recently unlocked this Darmian, played him centre back, and I mean I can't be too harsh because he's only an 84 rating, but he wasn't great. I'll be honest. And if you're going to play him in a right back role, okay, it could be different. But as a centre back, he definitely does need a +2. And then Bremer, at the start of the game, I noticed this because I had him on the RTG early on, and I just found him really like tight with his tackling. I've mentioned that once before when I even tried his Trailblazer version. I personally don't like the way he tackles. I think he's like really clumsy and he makes me play worse personally. And then this Bastoni, again, a little bit average at the start, his base version. Try out his Trailblazer, and it's the similar situation. Like I don't see like him making me play better personally. I'd much rather just use Varane, Saliba, Eder Militao. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really like these three. If you have had any experience with them, let me know what you think. But I don't like them personally. I must admit, I tried a lot of left backs on the game, but there's not really too many cards that are standing out to be that bad. No glaring issues. So I don't really want to force it and show you the worst when they're simply not. But let's go through the best. And DeMarco in the left back position. If you've ever come up against him, like once he tackles you and you try and get the ball back, he seems really strong. Like maybe the balance or whatever, the aggression, but he's a quality card. Might be a little bit slow, but he can pass, he can dribble. He's just really, really good. Then you got Theo Hernandez that is just truly the best. When you hear people say like he is one of the best cards you're going to use in the entire game, it really is the truth. Like he's so strong, so fast, like he is unbelievable. Then you got Bompasto that reminds me similar to like the Kauchawi approach, where she's really precise with her dribbling. She picks her like passes and she's just so good. Like I really like Bompasto to be fair, but then again, like she's not going to be the absolute best in the meta card to use because she's a little bit small. Then you got Grimaldo that was receiving so much hate, and I had a fantastic weekly performance getting ranked 2 with this man in a fullback position. I just liked him. He was quick enough to recover. He was making tackles. He could dribble, pass. Like, what's wrong with people? Like, why don't they like him? He's literally 30,000 coins and a good playable option. Robinson, I've never personally used, but the community was suggesting that he was a good option when he first came out. So maybe you want to bring him into a team. And then Nuno is free. There's like 5 days remaining as I'm recording this video, but he's an objective card, Trailblazer, and he looks insane. He's got fullback plus, he's rapid. He looks like a beast, and I'm going to have to get him as soon as possible, so he does deserve an honorable mention. As the game's been out for a while, I've been able to try some really nice CDM options, and the list pretty much speaks for itself. But Yaya Toure with that crazy body type, the incisive pass, if you're using like a 4-3-3 as well, like after recovering the play and being able to like ping it over to the left wing and right wing, it just feels so natural and really, really good. Tchouaméni, the promo version, you can play him as a centre-back as well as a CDM, and he's just very reliable and difficult to get through. You've also got like a different option here with Matuidi that provides that ping pass plus, and he's just great to recover. Ramirez I had recently in Foot Champions as my CDM in the 4-3-3 hold-in, and wow, his pace, his interceptions, like he really was reading the game very, very well. A bit pricey, but what you see is what you get. He's insane. De Jong's just a very good playmaking option. Like all of these players actually have something different in their own right, and De Jong does give you that natural dribble. Sissoko, like truly is one of the most broken cards EA have dropped on the game through like the foundation, and then you can double evo him. On this account, I haven't double evoed him just yet because he would receive like 87 pace, but just a crazy, crazy card. Like truly is busted. And then Patry is still getting used by a lot of cards on the game for that long ball approach. But with one of the worst cards, I was really disappointed. Like when she first dropped, she was extinct. So I was like anticipating, like really hoping to like get her as soon as possible. And then you look at like the performance for 50,000, like there's a reason why she's so cheap. I just didn't feel it with her. Like unfortunately, Stanway, I was just expecting like because of the ping pass and her stats all across the board that she was going to be like amazing. But she was pretty average, unfortunately. I've got some fantastic players to show you in this centimeter position. So let's get straight into it. Bonmati. Finesse shot plus on the Trailblazer. So good tracking back. AI is like busted. The dribbling, effective. She is truly one of the best cards that I've used. And then Putellas gets tried out in like so many other teams. Like not for myself, but for the community. And it is a difficult player to come up against. She's nice. I prefer Bonmati personally to Putellas this year. But great card, and I'm going to continue to use her nonetheless. Then you got Ziraberto. I feel like he's amazing. I know a bit pricey, like 650, 700,000, but what he provides with the technical, he can score goals, he can dribble, he has 5-star skills. I would recommend him, and he can play so many positions as well, so it helps chemistry and squad building. Hamsik is just mental. I'm pretty proud of this one because going into FC25, I did actually say in one of my earlier videos that I'm predicting him to be literally the best card on the game. I thought and I suggested that he's going to be similar to Marquisio, but give you like a Yaya Toure vibe with the tackling. I've absolutely nailed it. And because of the Power Shot Plus, it has made him literally one of the most useful cards in the pro scene. So I'll take that. And then Horan, she's an SBC, and she comes in at about 100,000 coins, or like 130. Maybe you can get her for cheaper after the rewards. Fantastic. Used her recently. My goodness me, she dribbles well, she defends. She reminds me similar to like the Bonmati, to be honest. And then the finishing, ping pass. Really do recommend giving her a go. And then with the Valverde, I've never used Valverde on FC25, but he is in the pro scene for a reason. Power shot. He might not be like the best on the ball, and that's what a lot of people say. They don't necessarily have like that much enjoyment with Valverde. It's just purely they bring him in because he is just broken for the game. I'm really disappointed with Bellingham. Overall, I just don't think it's worked out for him this year. Maybe once he receives that Team of the Year boost, he's going to break the game, and that's probably what EA are waiting for. But just really average this year. Don't go for him. Guti, I was a bit confused because I thought he was playing well for me at the start of the game, but god damn, he is average. Like in the midfield, doesn't really offer anything to help out like the defensive plays, and then when you get him on the ball, he's not really doing that much. I made a mistake with Guti. I thought he was a little bit better than he was, but going back to his card a couple of times now, just a bit average, unfortunately. And Thuram, there was like a lot of hype with him because he was like a brand new SBC and everyone was just getting their hands on him, but really, he's a lump. Like, you can't do much with him. He's just so heavy, and in my opinion is one of like the worst players that I've used. Now I've had the luxury of trying like a ton of CDM centre mids. I don't really like him. Barcelona fans are going to hate me for this one. I'll put your star boy as one of the worst. But maybe because I've included Rafinha, you're going to let me off, because he is truly one of the best cards that I've used on the game. The SBC, insane. And then you've got the Inform as well, available from the market. Got incredible RB dribbling. He's just energetic. Like, he really does like push and get into those dangerous areas. Great card this year. Adama Traore, unfortunately, if you've just got the game at the time of recording, he's not available. He was a season progress card, and they've made him like a little bit too nimble and good this year. Like, he has the dribbling, he's got the shooting pace, he's a dangerous player. And then Lauren James is fantastic. Really rate her highly. She's so fun. Like, if you are just looking to skill and just try and, you know, have a bit more enjoyment on the game, pick up Lauren James. You're not going to regret it. Hansen is probably the best that you can go and get. Double 5-star is completely busted. And then the version of Ousmane Dembele here, which is the Trailblazer, I personally haven't used, but I keep coming up against him, and he's scoring some unbelievable goals, and they gave him the Quick Step Plus, so that is seriously scary as well. So I love the wingers, I love the players, but looking at some of the worst, I have never used Lamine Yamal, but everyone that did his play of the month or tried out him at the start of the game was suggesting that he just isn't it yet. But if he was to receive like a future star, then maybe EA are going to crank up his stats and release him as like a 93, 94. But he just is a bit of a letdown, unfortunately. Gareth Bale, in my personal opinion, for the price that you're paying, he was average. Like, his dribbling, he's really clunky. Like, I just didn't get on with him. I thought that Bale, with this type of game, was going to be like one of the best players to go and buy, but just didn't really cut it. And I hope you guys share the same opinion. Otherwise, maybe it's a major skill issue from my part. But like, of course, he's fast, like to get down the line, but just didn't flow. Always felt awkward. I just, yeah, really was upset with him. And then a recent Politano that's just been dropped here. He needs an upgrade, because I would not be using him again. His finishing was like all right. He doesn't have like the base finesse shot. Like, he's good on the ball, good enough, and doesn't feel exactly like necessarily too slow. But Christ, man, like these guys are really underwhelming. There's one person in this list that we need to really speak about, because it's one of them where I'm sitting on the fence. But anyway, let's get into it. Vinicius Jr. There's no one better than him in the left wing position. That's my personal opinion. He is insane. You can play him as a striker, left wing, left mid, wherever you want to use him. He is so good on this year's game. Heung-min Son, reliable, trustworthy, finish shot plus, no problem. And then Neymar, even the base version of him is mad. But when I did try out this brand new Total Rush card, he was feeling a little bit quicker. Finishing was easier. I don't know. There was something that did feel like an upgrade. And of course, like, he has received stats, but you don't really necessarily feel that sometimes with like the best of the best cards. But Neymar really is great. Rafael. Now, I don't know if this man has just been like overhyped, but for me personally, like, I've played well with him, and to get down the line, simply using him for that style, he's all good. But his dribbling, I just don't feel like I can move the play as well as like Vinicius Jr. and Neymar. I personally play better with these types of dribblers, whereas Leao, there are times when you can like twist and pirouette and get through. But I'm going to be honest, I'm not like fantastic with Leao. I'll put it out there. So that may be a little bit of a skill issue. but I just prefer, you know, these types of cards. Now, with these two specifically, oh my god. All right, Barnes has been tried out by some pro players and stuff. Terrible. You can't really move him on the ball. He just doesn't really feel that great, so stay clear of Barnes. Diaz, I personally use in the weekend league, and I thought it was an absolute letdown. I was getting really excited. He was 1,000,000 coins, and Christ, man, he felt average, like bang average, like a weird body type and just heavy, so do stay clear. I think he's about 700,000 coins now. Just go and buy base Neymar, try and work towards Vinny, Human Son. Like, you're going to have a better output with those guys than you are Diaz. For most of the game cycle, I've been using the 4-4-2, and I've only just recently switched into the 4-3-3 holding. So in terms of cams and those types of formations, I haven't really been able to test it out as much as I would want to. But I've got some cool players to recommend. In terms of the worst, haven't come across them. Ruta, this is a player that I personally obviously have on this account, but on the RTG, I'd love him. But I just don't really want to fork out 200, 250,000 on the card. He's one of those, like, even though the finishing would put you off, he just finds a way to score. And then the double 5-star, he flows, he's got good pace. He's a nice player on the game. Musiala deserves a recommendation as well because of the fact he can go centre mid, cam. He's just really nice on the ball. He can get goals. Is he really like a must-do SBC? I don't think so, but he is definitely one of the better cards that I've tried in that cam, like centre mid area. And then these two are just scary, right? I've seen some gameplay of Cruyff, and that's basically what you're wanting to work towards. If you're running like a 4-3-2-1, where they've got the cams now, or you're playing a 4-2-3-1, like this card is what you want in that cam role. And then Ginola is scary. Like, he's so bulky and powerful, so you could play him striker or cam or even left mid, so he definitely deserves a shout. Like, he's good this year. Well, he's always good, Ginola, but he is a bit of a beast. And because of the new patch and stuff, it might make him play even better. So to finish it off, I have to show you some of the best strikers on the game. Now, Kylian Mbappe is a fraud in real life, and I've been saying it for a long time now. You know, take him out of the Liga 1, and then really, let's see what he's about. Maybe the balance at Real Madrid, though, isn't right, so in his defense, they'll probably get it fixed soon. But Mbappe on this year's game, and on every game, he is busted, so one of the best to go and buy. Robbie Keane. You know, when I produced a video and I was suggesting, like, is Robbie Keane a must-do? Because I had such a good session with him in Rivals, but I didn't want to jump the gun and over-exaggerate and make out like he is the absolute best, but he actually is. And I did feel it. Like, he was scoring some unreal goals. The power shot is meta, and they haven't patched that. And just his movement, RB dribbling, he is so effective and is one of the best cards that they've dropped. Or actually, in fact, I think he is the best SBC so far in FC25. Get him done. Griezmann, like the new version of him, is going to provide a little bit more speed. I haven't used him myself, but Griezmann on this year's game is just nice to use him as that false 9 if you're playing a 4-4-2. So, great card. Didier Drogba, broken. He is fast to get in behind. The power shots are insane. And even on the ball, he ain't bad for like 80 dribbling. And the pro players are using him just because that power shot plus. And I did have a crazy session in Rivals. Brolin is one of these players that I haven't got around to trying yet, but he's in so many people's teams. Like last year and the year before, he was unreliable because his finishing was a bit like iffy. But I think they're using him for that dribbling approach and like that false 9 vibe. So I need to try him myself. He's got to be put down as one of the best because he's always in division rivals and like the elite div and stuff. So try him out. And now we're looking at some of the worst cards on the game. I was really disappointed with Alvarez. I know some people have enjoyed him, but for the price, when he first came out, 1,000,000 coins, I thought he was a bit average for that value. Like, I just didn't really think he was all that. Had a little bit of close control, but that's about it. Crespo, yeah, he was average in the end. He wasn't even making the movement. I don't know what happened to him. In the draft, he was insane, and then he's become like one of the worst and just couldn't wait to get rid of him. And this Lewandowski, don't waste your money on Lewandowski. I had such a bad session actually with one of his, like, was it? No, it wasn't Trailblazer. It was like another promo card. It was terrible, and his play of the month is just not worth doing. Just don't do it. Don't, you know, you don't want to have to use that for the rest of the game. Don't unlock him. But hopefully this video has helped you out, and it's brought like a few other players to your attention. And let me know if you're going to be building some cool teams. And if you are, send it over to me on my Twitter. All links in the description. And yeah, let me know if this video has helped you out. But if there are any other players that you've been using recently and I haven't put them on this list, put it in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. And yeah, like I say, if you have enjoyed, drop a thumbs up. See you on the next one. Bye-bye. Peace.